Good Sunday morning. My name is Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. This morning, I am joined by Toledo NAACP President Willie Perryman to discuss some of the gun violence that we're starting to see in our communities, and there were a few this week. So, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Jaden?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm blessed.
So, kind of give me an idea of what you think this rise in gun violence that we're seeing in a lot of our communities. Where do you think the root of it is at?
I think the root of it is I think we're in the middle of a health crisis as relates to mental health. I think that there are just so many challenges that we have specifically for people of color, and that it has begun to really just weigh on us in terms of, how are we going to make it from day to day, week to week, week to week. And so I was just really, hurt by last weekend of a rampage of violence. I mean, we had two excellent, beautiful days that we can finally look forward to the spring and the summer. And the good weather was somewhat outcast because of the violence that we experienced. I want to say in about a 48-hour period.
For those Toledoans that are sitting aside on the sidelines, watching what's happening and watching it unfold, they're politely upset and, of course, reasonably so, seeing what's happening in our communities. So what is your message to them?
So my message is, I think we have to just kind of just hang in there. I believe personally that since we have lost our gun violence leader in Mr. Armour, I think it was the last part of February. So we've lost, in my opinion, about 7 to 8 weeks of constant community awareness, constant community communication. And so I think we've lost some momentum, especially in that LaGrange area. I mean, we've had some good outcomes in Junction. We've had some good outcomes in Inglewood, and we're about to move over into LaGrange. And Mr. Armour decided to move on. And so, in my opinion, I think we've lost some momentum with him leaving. So I charge and admonish our city administration to get someone hired so that we can get back in the trenches.
You also noted that Junction Inglewood neighborhood where gun violence was here and it went down to here. So we're starting to see some of those gun violence reductions and just disputes that we're starting to see in this area. So what are some things that you hope the city considers when hiring somebody to fill his shoes?
Well, they better hire somebody who has the passion and has the energy that he had. And then I would like the city to give the next person more support. I think there needs to be some social support. I think there need to be some more support from the law enforcement side of it. And then I think we need some support to kind of broadcast some of those good outcomes or those better outcomes. And then at the same time, let's put the message out there that our community is just not going to continue to accept this gun violence.
And there are many people that have, taken a stand against the gun violence that we're seeing. The city, with the mayor's initiative to reduce gun violence, they do have those opportunities for people to get directly involved as violence interrupters. So kind of give people an idea of what the role of a violence interrupter is, and what's your message to them if they're hesitant about joining?
Well, I want to just encourage them because our community needs them, our city administration needs them, and the victims need them. And so I would like to just encourage them to continue in the struggle, because the struggle is real. And what we are experiencing here in Toledo and Lucas County, it's nothing new. It's going on all around the country. But there are other communities that are having some successes. And I really believe that we were on the right road to some successes. But we just need to pick back up when we left off when JoJuan left.
What would you say is primarily affected by gun violence when no one's there taking a stand against it?
Yep, I mean, we've got to take a stand. The NAACP had a forum. There have been some other agencies and other organizations who have come out really standing up against the gun violence. And so my one message to those who are engaged in gun violence, let's stop it. Come on, let's get through this. Let's find other ways to kind of let out some of our frustrations without hurting families, without hurting mothers, without hurting grandmothers, and specifically without taking other people's lives.
And it's interesting to hear what a lot of people who talk about gun violence is that it went from fists to guns.
Well, I think there are a couple common denominators. I think it's, again, mental health issues. I think it's economics. I think it's the lack of really desire to live. There's a lack of, in my opinion, more recreation opportunities for young people. And so we have to identify ways to keep our young people engaged, keep them busy, keep them doing some positive things in our community. Therefore, they will not result into some of the negative gun violence and of the taking of lives.
And if we're not getting involved for ourselves, let's definitely do it for the youth. So what are some things you hope that the city offers for these youth and some programs that they can find to get involved?
Well, I think perhaps one of the best avenues that the city can offer is a comprehensive summer recreation program around our parks, around our neighborhood, community facilities. And that kind of action has to be not only for 8 hours, it's got to be from sunrise to sundown. And so I would hope that recreation, arts, music, all of those type of things that will capture the attention of our young people that we hope will sway them away from some of the violence.
What do you hope comes of this? And what are some of the things that you've heard from people in the community when they're reacting to seeing all of this gun violence and just senseless death?
Well, I think what I'm hearing is that our community is tired. I mean, mothers are tired of losing their children. Grandmothers are tired of losing their grandchildren. Aunts and uncles, we're just tired of using a generation that has so much to offer to our community. And so I think we really ought to be outraged. I mean, we ought to be outraged, and those persons who are participating in these violent acts, they need to be punished to the extent of the law.
This is, of course, something that's going to continue. It's a situation that's constantly evolving, and it's been a really violent week here in Toledo, and 3 lives were lost just on Monday. So let's hope we can do something here in our area to change this really grim outlook that we're having right now. Pastor Willie Perryman, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jaden.
Thank you. You have a great Sunday.